Hey everybody, today we're going to take a look at the Lion-O from the Thundercats. Now the Thundercats came out in 1985 originally, and they were made by LJN Toys, who had previously done the Dune and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons series. And a little action feature on the Thundercats is the Battle-Matic feature, which is this little lever. And when you push it, one or two of the arms will move up and down. Now over time these do get stuck and quite often don't work. But this feature was first used on the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons and Dune figures, and then we would see it with the Thundercats. So this figure came out in 1985, and he was originally on an 8-back card, and there was also a second release in 1985 where he came with a free battery. And then for 1986 he was redone in Series 2, and this time he came with Snarf, and that was on a 14-back card. And then we got another release in Series 3 in 1987. This time he was on a 22-back card. And the final release of Lion-O came out also in 1987, and it was a slightly retooled version, and it came with the Thunderwings little vehicle set. Now that Lion-O doesn't have the Battle-Matic feature, and that is the rarest Lion-O to get hold of. There was a slight variation along the line somewhere with a more orange hair colour instead of red, but other than that, this is the main one. It's the one you usually find. So just taking a look around the figure, you can see this is quite primitive for modern standards, but back in the day this was pretty cool. These stood a lot taller than Master of the Universe figures. And you might be able to notice there's quite a bit of colour difference between the arms and legs and the body and head. Now that's due to the type of plastic. The arms and legs are quite a soft plastic with a matte finish, and the torso and the head is all very shiny, and this is a really tough plastic. Now with this being tough plastic, you're going to find a lot of paint wear on these guys. I mean, you can see some there on the little Thundercat logo. He's got a nose ding. And on the back we've got some really patchy scrapes where it's come off over the years. But the arms and legs do suffer a little bit too. You can see on the feet there we've got some orange showing through. And on the hands particularly, there's a little bit more orange there. So something to look out for if you're going to get one of these. Now this figure was sculpted by a guy called Rick Hughes. And when he did the first sort of version of this, they weren't quite happy with the hair, so a guy called Jose Longoria did a resculpt on the hair, and that's the hair that we see on this. Lion-O comes with 3 accessories. First up we've got the Sword of Omens, and this looks nothing like it did in the cartoon. It's made of red plastic, so you'll see a lot of paint wear on these. They're very difficult to get with no paint wear at all. And you also notice this one's bending slightly. They're quite pliable, and that would just fit in that hand. You also see the Eye of Thundera logo there is silver and red rather than red and black. For his second accessory, he comes with a claw shield. Now this was actually sculpted by a guy called Steve Kiwas, who was one of his early jobs working on the Thundercats line, but he later went on to do the Marvel figures for Toy Biz. So the claw just fits over his hand like that, just sort of covers half of it. So that's his weapons. Now he also comes with this. This is his power ring. Now Lion-O and Mum-Ra both came with a power ring. And Lion-O, as you can tell, because it's got the Thundercat sign on there. And we've got this little bit that you can put over your finger if your fingers are skinny enough. And this bit does actually come off. Now you will find on a lot of these that these are snapped because they are quite brittle. Especially if someone with fat fingers has tried to fit it on. And this does open up. And inside you can see I've got a Hyundai battery in there. AAA size battery, and on the tip there we've got this little metal bit, and there's another metal connector on the outside with a little bit of insulation, and this sort of sits behind there. Now you notice there's 2 metal sections there, they are separated, which gives us the connections. They're not powerful enough to give you a shock or anything, because this is a kid's toy. And when you push that in there, you'll see his little action feature of his eyes lighting up. Now it's a little bit difficult to see with the lights on, so we'll knock the lights off and I'll show you that a little bit closer. So with the lights off we should be able to see this now. So we just put that in the back of his back and you can see his eyes glowing there. Now you will notice that the plastic is quite thin and you can see a glow around most of his head. But it does work quite well, and with him having the sort of cat's eyes painted over the top, you can still make out a bit of eye detail on there. This was a great feature. I thought this was fantastic when I was a kid. Lion-O was my first Thundercat and he'd probably stay my favourite. So I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at Lion-O. This is the Lord of the Thundercats. I've got plenty more Thundercats reviews to come. So this has been Luke. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.